With the first pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Markelle Fultz from the University of Washington.
And welcome in to Views from the Sideline, our NBA Mock Draft Special. That was an appearance from Adam Silver on the show. Thanks for coming on, Adam. Appreciate it. I'm Chris Pappas, one of your three hosts. Alongside me, Joey Tysick.
How's it going?
And Malik Hill.
Sixers got Markelle. They're winning that championship. First pick in the draft, man.
Yeah, that's it. So we are in the studio ready to do our first annual NBA Mock Draft Special. This is how it's going to work. We're doing the first round. Each host has been assigned a pick number, and we're going to go kind of round robin and go from there. I have the first pick. Joey has the second pick, and will be Sacramento. Malik is number 3 in Atlanta, and then it'll go back to me for 4, Joe for 5, Malik for 6, so on and so forth. We'll get into that. No Pistons first round pick this year because of the Blake Griffin trade. Pen falling. But the Pistons have the 42nd pick. We'll give our opinion on that at the end of the show, but we're not going to do the second round, just first round. So let's and you guys want to shout out anything? Bring anything up before we get going on this mock draft?
Joey, I heard things are kind of chaotic in the Sacramento war room right now. You're gonna overuse that time.
Not in my war room, they're not. Maybe in their actual war room.
Things tend to happen. Weird things tend to happen in Sacramento.
Not in this war room. Chris, turn me up a little bit. My headphones.
You good?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So let's jump. Malik, you good?
I'm
We
good.
ready to get into this? Let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right. Phoenix on the clock. I'm in charge of the Phoenix Suns. I mean, this is a lock. This is a lock pick. You know, I'm a huge Luka Doncic guy. And, you know, since I'm the guy in charge, I'm picking DeAndre Ayton. I think he's a lock. They need a center. Kind of that Shaq, very poor man's Shaq and Kobe in Phoenix. Kind of pair Ayton with Devin Booker. I'm not saying they are going to be a Joey. I see that look. I'm just saying very poor man, homeless man's Shaq and Kobe.
Homeless man's.
But yeah, I think they have a hole at center. They got Tyson Chandler there. Alex Len's a free agent. Tyson's getting up there in age. And then Marquise Chris, who's a question mark.
Big time question mark.
Big time. Dragan Bender's been a question mark. He's kind of coming along a little bit, but he's rail thin, hasn't really developed a game yet. Really, your only piece in Phoenix is Devin Booker and TJ Warren, who is coming up to restricted free agency rather soon. So DeAndre Ayton's my guy.
But they have a really young core that looks promising.
Not really.
I think so.
I mean, outside of
They're close.
Devin Booker, now DeAndre Ayton, I like TJ. Oh yeah, Josh Jackson. Completely forgot about Josh Jackson.
And they have Alfred Payton.
Yeah,
I like Alfred.
I think he's a solid point guard. He's a solid point guard in this league.
I mean, you got good value.
I'm just
for
saying
him.
they have a young core that they can work with.
And you have Tyson Chandler to be that veteran and bring DeAndre Ayton along. It's a good position.
I think they're close. I mean, obviously, if
they have some
they're
solid
in the
pieces.
West.
Yeah,
so.
and they have some solid pieces. They'll take some time to rebuild. They have another first round pick. They have the 16 pick too, right outside the lottery. So they have the pieces to kind of develop more of a young core. So I'm gonna lock in DeAndre Ayton. He's going to the Phoenix Suns. That is putting the Sacramento Kings on the clock. Joey.
And as you know, we've talked about Sacramento, their war room's looking a little crazy right now. They're talking all sorts of places. They're all over the place. They don't know what they want to do. Well, I know what I want to do. Marvin Bagley the third. Easy.
Marvin Bagley the third.
Lock it in. Number 2 overall. Easy.
I love the confidence.
Easy pick.
Sacramento needs more of that these
Easy
days.
pick. They play
Easy pick.
They play it safe. They need a big man. Their last couple drafted big men haven't totally worked out. They've been okay. Scalabassier and Willie Cauley-Stein. They're not bad guys, but they're not takeover kind of players. They're the role players, the fill guys. I think Marvin Bagley can be a staple in this league. I don't know if I'd go to maybe being a star right away, but I think he can develop into something very good for this team.
Yeah, I like Bagley. I think the big thing for Bagley in this is he's the only top 5 player that has chosen to work out for Sacramento. Doncic hasn't given him any medical information, any opportunity to work out, but he's playing in Europe right now. Bamba has declined any medicals, any information, any workout. Same with all these top guys. Michael Porter Jr., he did do a workout, but he was kind of on the outside. So I think that plays a huge role. So the Kings want somebody that wants to be a Sacramento King. And with how dysfunctional that team is, you need a special guy that go to Sacramento.
And I like Bagley's confidence too. Like as soon as DeAndre Ayton came out and said that he's the clear-cut number one, he's not going to try out for any other team besides the Suns. Bagley came back and said, I'm going to let my play do the talking.
I mean, I bet you better hear that.
The Sacramento Kings like to hear that.
Yeah, and Bagley, he openly said he wanted to go number one, which, I mean, every
Who
player's going to say.
Who doesn't?
So he openly probably wants to go number two. He doesn't care what team is at number two. Just to say that he was the number two pick in the draft probably means a lot to him.
Right.
So we're rocking with Marvin Bagley, the third, at number two. So DeAndre Ayton, Bagley off the board.
Bagley and his Pumas in Sacramento.
Yeah, Bagley and his Pumas. Yeah, we're not going to get into that too much. We'll probably touch on that next week.
Pumas.
But yeah, Pumas making some moves back into the basketball world. We'll probably touch on that next week. We're focused on the draft this week. Malik, for the culture.
Atlanta on the clock.
For the Atlanta Hawks. What are they doing?
Okay, so this third pick, Atlanta realistically needs everything.
Fair.
Yes.
Except for
Every
John,
single
they have John
position.
Collins.
Except for John Collins. Their point guard might want to go. Their two guards are young and really like G League players. Kent Bazemore is good, but he only gives you so much. And Dwayne Dedmon just does not get it done for him.
I also heard that they're aggressively shopping Kent Bazemore and Dennis Schroeder ahead of the draft here. So that's probably going to play in a factor as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. They could get some good young players with that deal. But with this third pick, I'm going to take the guy that, in my opinion, was the best player for the Michigan State Spartans this season.
Oh, my.
Jaren Jackson at 6'11", 240. This is a guy, you put him next to John Collins, you have a good inside-outside game, you have a combo. That will be, in a year or two, could be a real problem for most teams in the East and the West, honestly. Jaren Jackson scores on all three levels. He shoots from three. He can hit the mid-range. He has good post moves. He has elite defensive instincts. He broke the Michigan State freshman record for blocks. He does it on both ends of the floor. Put together John Collins and Jaren Jackson, I think you have a good starting point for the future in Atlanta.
Yeah, and I mean, to clarify too, this NBA mock draft is who myself, Joey, and Malik think their team should take. It's not kind of based off rumors who we think they're going to take. It's who we would take if we were in that position. So Malik's got Jaren Jackson Jr. I really like him. He's kind of got that Serge Ibaka type build to him and that type mentality. He can stretch the floor, like you said, and still is an aggressive shot blocker. He'd fit in well next to John Collins, who also is a freak athlete, jump out of the gym. He goes for blocks, tries to dunk everything. Now they need to figure out their backcourt situation. And they got a couple more picks here in this first round, so maybe they'll address that later on. But I like the pick. I'm not a huge Jaren Jackson fan. I think there's better prospects on the board. I think it's kind of shocking you don't go Doncic here or for the culture Trae Young, but I mean, it's a solid pick. I like it. Jaren Jackson the third.
I think Jaren Jackson just has some developing to do. I think obviously the skill set and obviously the body type is there. I think he just needs to maybe bulk up a little bit and just be more NBA ready. But I do like, and especially for Atlanta, like they have nothing to lose at this point. So even if you take him maybe a little bit higher than maybe some people would, I think it's a good pick.
All right, moving on. I'm in the Memphis War Room right now.
Oh boy,
Grizzlies on the clock.
I think I know what's coming.
Yep.
My owner Rob
I know
Pera.
what's coming.
My owner Rob Pera. He's telling me I need to get a star. Kind of get Memphis back on the map. You know who I'm going with?
What kind of star are we talking about?
We talking
Chris?
Luka Doncic, the best European prospect in years.
Yeah.
He's a step under a LeBron James type
Whoa.
prospect.
Whoa.
A step under. I
Easy,
said a step
easy,
under.
easy.
I said a step
What
under.
is a step under LeBron?
Step under is
That's-
Kevin Durant.
Man, I put Kevin Durant up there with LeBron in that prospect wise. He's one of the best prospects we've seen in a long time. The fact that he's not going number one is absolutely crazy to me. The fact that
Because he plays in the European League.
I think, but he's also playing against grown men.
He didn't win the MVP at just 18.
And
Right.
here's the thing: he is he's playing against grown men in the second best pro basketball league in the world. It's better than college basketball. It's just, I feel like the unknown surrounding him because these general managers and scouts, they haven't been around him like they do college players that play high school, play in the AAU circuit. He's overseas. It's harder to kind of get that intel on him. So I think that's my only reasoning that he is slipping. But if he's there at 4 and I'm Memphis, that's the guy who I thought they should have taken if they got the number 1 pick. I think Luka Doncic, hands down. I mean, you're popping champagne in the war room if you're Memphis.
No, I think this is a great pick. The fit for Memphis, I think, for Luka Doncic is great because you get to get mentored by Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Who he's a guy that's injured a lot. So
and you play with
there's a chance that you're going to play a lot, and he's going to teach you how to play the NBA game. And then you have Marc Gasol, a guy from another country,
European,
can get you accustomed to everything.
Exactly.
It goes how you live and how you become an NBA player in this league. So
great points.
Really
great
good
points.
fit for Luka Doncic. And
I appreciate that. You know, we did our homework here in Memphis. So moving on, number 5 on the clock, the Dallas Mavericks. What's Cube been telling you to do, Joe?
Oh man, me and Cube, we go way back.
I
love that guy.
Have you been on Shark Tank yet?
I want to. I just don't have a good idea.
I have a feeling you listen a little bit too much to Mark.
Nah.
Dallas has been kind of sketchy the past few years.
He's got some good ideas, I think.
I'm not going to disagree with that one.
So Dallas is in a lot of trouble, like a lot of other teams. They're kind of going downhill in the wrong direction. Their star player Dirk Nowitzki is getting up there.
He turned 40 today.
He's
happy birthday,
happy
Dirk.
40th to
you know,
Dirk.
one of my favorite players of all time, and he's not what he was.
You know, before you get into the pick, I just want to throw something out there for you. You know, he's getting up there at age. He wants someone to mentor. There is this European that played college ball this year. He loves Dirk. He plays at the University of Michigan.
Ooh.
You want to do a little reach here, Joe?
Hell no.
Hey.
That would be the reach of
That
the
would be
century.
awesome.
I love the guy,
Cuban would fire him on the spot.
but he's not 5th pick worthy. He's not ready for that. But who is 5th pick worthy? We're gonna stay in the big man column.
Okay.
Obviously, like I said, Dallas is lacking big men. They did pretty well last year drafting some young guards with Dennis Smith Jr. They've gotten Yogi Ferrell in the past. So I think they're okay in that part. Like I said, they need a lot of work.
Do you think they'll go big in free agency though? Because that may play a factor.
See, this
in who they pick.
is part of my pick.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get to that because
Gotcha.
they've been talking about going after DeAndre Jordan again. They've also talked about DeMarcus Cousins. I don't know if they have the selling point to bring DeMarcus Cousins.
I think they have the money to bring him in.
Either.
Right.
I think
they
have
do
the
have
money
the
to
money,
bring
but
him.
there are other teams that also have the money.
Boogie
But I don't
wants
think
Boogie wants to win at this point.
I don't know. I think coming off that Achilles injury, that's scary. If you offer him
yeah.
5 years at max money, which New Orleans is not going to do,
They're not.
I think DeMarcus takes a hard look at Dallas, especially since it's a nice kind of city, a nice place to live, nice atmosphere. I can see where Boogie kind of would want to go to Dallas.
But my general thinking, if I'm in the Dallas war room right now, DeMarcus Cousins and DeAndre Jordan are unknowns because of free agency. You have to go with the known fact that you can get right now, and that is my favorite prospect of this draft, Mo Bamba,
I love it.
because he works well. He's just that lengthy guy. He's got a lot of skill. He's another one of those players that's a very raw talent. He's got a lot of developing to do, I think. But all the skill set is there. He's similar to Jaren Jackson. The guy has a 7'10" wingspan,
He's shooting
Can't
threes
teach
in
that.
workouts.
and
Can't teach it.
I just love that kind of play style. And they showed if he played per 40 minutes, he would average 8 blocks or something crazy.
He averaged almost 4 blocks a game.
Yeah, and
His one season.
he
in
would
college.
obviously average a double-double. I think he's a great build-around kind of player. I don't think he would be the star necessarily, but he could definitely do all the dirty work, and I like that defensive front that he could bring to Dallas. So I think he's a great pick.
I think that's a solid pick. You can't go wrong with Mo Bamba at 5. There's talk he could maybe go 2 to Sacramento early in the draft process. I mean, he's a 7. The wingspan is insane. Just the physical attributes are insane. Plus, he's shooting pull-up threes in workouts. Yes, it's against the chair, but it's still a big man showing that he can stretch the floor.
And he can guard 1 through 5, honestly. He showed in college. So
Yeah, it's a solid pick. I like it. All right, Orlando Magic on the clock, Malik. I know there's a lot of talk about you guys maybe need a point guard. You shipped Joey's boy to Phoenix. I mean, what's the call here?
Okay, so Orlando is a city that is almost below Sacramento right now.
Whoa. That's no one's below Sacramento.
Basketball wise, Sacramento has hope. They have really good young guys.
They have no hope in that front office.
Orlando,
except for Joey.
Orlando has Aaron Gordon, an aging Nikola Vucevic, an aging Terrence Ross. Jonathan Simmons, I like him, but
He's not a build around.
exactly.
Piece.
I looked at the roster last night. Orlando has 1 point guard left on their roster, and that is DJ Augustine, who I respect.
Yeah,
I really
a
respect
heck of a
DJ
backup
Augustine.
point guard.
You keep DJ Augustine, but Orlando needs excitement. They need a fresh new face. They need somebody to breathe air into this franchise.
Who is it?
That's why I'm taking Trae Young.
You're taking Trae
point
Young
guard from Oklahoma.
Okay. Now, why do you think that's a good fit, Malik?
Trae Young is a guy coming into Orlando. I don't think there will be a lot of pressure on him. Orlando isn't the type of franchise. He's not Shaquille O'Neal. He's not Chris Webber. He's not the big number one pick that everybody expects to. Well, everybody will expect him to come.
I know
and
Trae Young's
play really
that
good,
name,
but I think they need a player like this, a guy that can light up the scoreboard.
Kind of get your fans involved too.
Get fans in the seats, make people excited to see Magic basketball again. Then you bring in the factor of his great court vision, his passing ability. He has the ability to raise his teammates' play, and we saw that early in the season with Oklahoma before teams started scheming more at Trae Young specifically. He had Oklahoma at like a 13-1 or 14-1 record when he didn't have that much talent around him just because of how good he was as a point guard. Aaron Gordon is rising in this game. He became a very quality power forward last year. I think he can raise his talent. He can raise Nikola Vucevic. He can make Terrence Ross play harder, run more.
And we'll see.
And he has a lot of growing to do on defense. He has to tighten his handle, stuff like that. But
definitely,
for somebody to raise the spirits of this franchise right now, you need a guy like Trae Young.
I completely agree with you. Trae Young's that name, that buzz that he'll bring to a franchise that's been dormant for so long. I mean, newly hired coach Steve Clifford, he's back in Orlando. He was an assistant coach when Stan was there. There's a lot of good things happening in Orlando right now, and they're going to go through a full rebuild here. I think Trae Young's a great starting piece. Yeah, you got any?
I think it's a little scary for him to be the turning point for the Orlando Magic. It's a tough franchise to be in to begin with.
It is.
They haven't done anything since, what was it, 2010?
Expectations are low, though.
But the thing for me is, if he knows how to take criticism, he knows how to build off of that criticism. He was criticized a lot shooting 30, 35 times at Oklahoma. The next game, he would shoot 10 times and they'd win by 20. If those fans in that city criticizes him, he will figure it out, learn it like that, and he'll just keep it rolling.
Yeah. I like it.
The only thing that makes me nervous, I guess, a little bit is his tournament play wasn't great, and the Steph Curry comparisons have got to be a little bit hard.
It was a lot.
So obviously that'll be a mental toughness kind of thing, and I mean, hopefully he can get over it. I think he'd be exciting to watch in the NBA, but those are just my concerns.
There's always doubts with any prospect you're going to draft. All right, so I'm ahead of the Chicago Bulls. Love myself some Bulls.
Can I say something really quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
This is a really interesting pick because Zach LaVine is a free agent, and they got a lot of figuring out to do at that position, the guards.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff to figure out in the guards. I also think they have a lot of decisions to make up front. I think Robin Lopez is probably halfway out the door. You got Lauri Markkanen. Do you go with a guy like a Wendell Carter to go number 7 and kind of fit him next to Lauri? I think that's a good fit. But I think Chicago likes to make a splash. You're in a big market, a big basketball market. Derrick Rose, he brought a huge buzz to your team when you drafted him 1 overall. They love their point guards. They love their guards. I'm taking a risk on Michael Porter Jr., going 7 here.
Wow.
I know Cleveland really wanted him at 8. I'm going Porter Jr. here. There's a lot of red flags. I understand that. He got cleared a couple times now leading up to the draft. I think there's so much talent there. He was going to go number 1 if he didn't hurt himself heading into his collegiate year in Missouri. I think you just take a chance. You roll the dice here with a potentially franchise-altering talent. So I'm going Michael Porter Jr. at number 7 for Chicago.
I actually think that's a really good pick because unlike when we were talking last week about Sacramento, and we have talked about a little bit where like he could potentially go number 2 overall, I didn't think Sacramento needed to take a risk because they're in a position on the up. They're on an upward trend. Chicago is the opposite. I think they're on a downward trend. They need a lot of help. So they're already in deep water. They might as well take a dive and try to get some risk. And there's definitely reward in this kind of pick. I think teams like Chicago, even Orlando, teams like that are just kind of sinking quickly. I think Porter Jr. is okay to take the risk on.
And I think you got to look at, if they don't go Porter Jr., I think they'll go more wing, more front court, like a Mikal Bridges maybe, or a Wendell Carter. I know they really like Wendell Carter, but I think those are just a couple names to watch there. And Joey, you have the ability to draft for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who
Malik, did you have anything on Porter Jr.?
It could be a big payoff.
Yeah.
But just seeing recently, he couldn't make a workout because his back was hurting so bad.
But
those back problems, they look like they're going to last for a while. He might have to sit out his first year. So
Ended Tracy McGrady's season or career.
Yeah, so it's a big risk, but if he gets healthy,
it's a big reward.
He's 6'10" with a beautiful jumper and athleticism. So
let's see how
it works out.
Fair enough. So Joey, you're ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's some questions surrounding your organization. A lot of people say Dan Gilbert's kind of guiding Colby Altman, their GM's hand, and whoever they're picking. LeBron's probably not going to be there next year. There's still a slim chance. Do you kind of lean? I know we can't trade picks in this mock draft, but before you make the pick, if you're the Cavaliers, and since you're the front office of the Cavaliers right now, do you consider trading that pick?
No.
Okay.
I maybe think about it in the back of my mind now that Porter Jr.'s taken off the board. I think he was
he was going
a
8.
top prospect for Cleveland.
Did I steal the pick for Cavaliers here in our draft?
But I don't think that they need to trade the pick because I don't think they're trying to please LeBron anymore. I think you have to just go with the fact that he's not going to be there. Even if he decides to come back, even if they figure something out that works, you have to go into it thinking that he's not going to be back. And nobody can follow up LeBron if he leaves. You're not going to replace him in this draft. It's not going to happen. And it's going to be tough for whoever steps in because Cleveland is going to want that player that they draft to be their next star, basically, I believe. And I think you need somebody that can step into the spotlight and isn't afraid of the spotlight and wants to be a star in this league. And I think this player does.
Ooh.
I know who you're talking about.
I think I know who you're talking about, too.
I think from his tournament play, he's proved that he's ready to step up when he needs to. And obviously, this is a guard-heavy league. So
just say the name, Joe. We know
the Cleveland Cavaliers are picking Colin Sexton.
I like the pick.
Alabama,
I really do.
Man. Good pick.
Sexton, he had a good tournament. He had some flashy plays. I've heard he's gotten compared to kind of a poor man's Russell Westbrook in the way he go about his game, his mentality, how aggressive he is attacking the rim. Malik, what do you see in Colin Sexton do you think that can translate to the next level?
Colin Sexton, when I think of him, everybody uses the term for Colin Sexton. He has that dog in him. He is ready to play at all times. He's not afraid to play against anyone, offensively or defensively. He's that type of competitor. I don't like the Russell Westbrook comparisons a lot, although he's very aggressive. Russell Westbrook goes 100 miles per hour at all times.
You don't think Colin Sexton
knows how to change. He's extremely fast, but Colin Sexton knows how to change speeds and use his quickness to his
advantage.
Yeah, to his advantage.
He's a little more crafty.
Yes, he is. He has more handle. He has. I really like that pick.
Yeah, I think
he can handle the pressure of whatever Dan Gilbert puts on him.
I think he would enjoy it.
I think he would enjoy whether LeBron's there or not.
Right.
Taking the keys and kind of being the face of the franchise in the next kind of era of Cleveland basketball.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the next pick, number 9 on the clock, Malik Hill, selecting for the New York Knickerbockers.
Now, I got some pressure because Fizdale is trusting me on this one. I got
a star in Porzingis.
Me and Fizdale, we talked a lot about this one.
Fizz likes certain type of players too.
I
mean, you got to pick the right one.
Listen, me and Fizz talked about this, and there have been risks taken over the past few years. Phil did great with Porzingis. Ntilikina looks good right now, but we don't know. Fizdale wants to take a thing that could be a sure thing, a safe pick.
Okay.
So at number 9, you have Porzingis, you have the point guard and Frank Ntilikina. I say you take Mikal Bridges.
Wow.
For Villanova. His name slipped me at first. I almost said Miles Bridges.
Philadelphia's upset.
You take Mikal Bridges at that 9th pick. He is a guy that could be a perennial all-star, but could also just be one of those hardworking veteran guys. And neither one, you can't fail with either, in my opinion.
I mean, I think I can see a little bit of Trevor Ariza in him. I also can see a little bit of Klay Thompson. I think he's kind of that type of wing player that will play both ways. And he's got a pretty shooting form. That's why he kind of reminds me a little bit of Klay. I think there's definitely a lot to like about Mikal Bridges. I understand he's a junior now,
Yes.
coming out. He was a junior. So you have kind of age playing more of a negative role in his draft profile. But in this case, New York, like you said, Fizdale wants a guy that he knows is going to play. Mikal's going to play.
This
Joe?
is a guy, he has a chip on his shoulder. He won't be afraid to play in New York. He had the highest three-point percentage on the Villanova team last year that won the national championship. He has the potential to be an elite defender, and he can play right away. So the Knicks need a player like that right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's obviously it's tough to play in the Garden. The New York fans will definitely be rambunctious right away. So if you're not ready to go, you're going to be in trouble. And I think Mikal Bridges is one of those guys that you can slot in, like you said. I think he'll work right away. His potential is up there. I don't know if it's as high as some of these other guys, but I think he's going to be a solid player that'll play 10 to 15 years down the road.
I think at the worst he could be is Tayshaun Prince to me, which is still quality.
The worst could be his Tayshaun
Yes,
Prince. That dude
which is
is
still
borderline Hall of Fame.
I said perennial all-star or
All right.
a very good veteran.
I mean, Malik, he was spot on with Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to let him do his thing. Moving on. Well, the Philadelphia 76er War Room, I mean, we're without Brian Colangelo, so I'm just talking to Brett Brown right now. We're not happy. We wanted Mikal Bridges at 10. We thought he would be there. He's not. So we're going back to our board. We want to address some wing help. We understand Wendell Carter is there, and he's slipping right now, so a team could be interested in trading up. We'll take some phone calls, But in the end, we're going to go with upside and a player that we can develop over time. Since we have Ben Simmons, we have Joel Embiid. We're going Kevin Knox from Kentucky, wing, small forward, kind of power forward type player who we can develop. He's young. He's 18, and he kind of has that Tobias Harris type build to him. And that type of player could fit in down the road here in Philadelphia.
I like the pick. He's behind guys like Ben Simmons, although Ben Simmons plays the point guard position.
Yeah.
He's behind him and also Robert Covington. Robert Covington plays really good defense and is a consistent shooter. So
it came down to Knox's potential. Lonnie Walker kind of is a wild card to me, both attitude-wise, his basketball IQ-wise, and just not sure what you'll get at the next level, along with a Miles Bridges. I'm not sure if Bridges has as high of a ceiling as Knox does. So in the end, we went with Knox based on potential. Joey, Charlotte's on the clock. There's been rumors they're looking to shake up this roster. James Borrega, new head coach. Cliff's out. Is Kemba Walker? He might be on the move. I've heard you've been taking some phone calls on that. So what's the move here for Charlotte?
Oh, not my front office. We're not taking calls for Kemba.
what's Jordan telling you, Joey?
But that's apparently what's going on.
I think it's a pretty straightforward pick that you can make here that addresses your team, addresses a need, and is a stud of a player. But I don't think you're going to take him.
I don't know if that's who you're trying to force me to take, but
You do what you got to do.
my belief is that Dwight Howard's going to play out his contract, and I think they don't really need to address big men.
But Dwight Howard's not the future at the center position.
No, he's not.
His
But-
contract is what, one more year?
Uh,
I thought he signed a 2-year deal.
it's signed 3 years,
Oh, okay.
so it's 2 years.
Okay.
But I think
I mean, putting a stud big man behind a guy like Dwight Howard to learn how to play the game. I mean, I'm just saying, Joe, you got to make your pick. But
I understand that. But, and I guess I don't, it depends too.
don't let me change your mind.
I
Make
don't,
your pick.
No. It's okay. But I'm thinking, they've been trying so hard to dump Marvin Williams for the longest time. If they can somehow figure out how to do that without dropping Kemba, I think that would be in their best interest. And so maybe this is a weird pick to leave Wendell Carter still slipping, but I think I go with to fill the Marvin Williams role and that wing role that they don't really have. And they don't have much talent besides Kemba Walker and Dwight Howard to begin with. I think you go with Shea.
You're going Shea.
I think so.
I like
Gilgeous?
it. He's a guy that can kind of learn.
Alexander.
He can learn underneath Kemba Walker a couple years here, whether they decide to move on from him or not. I've heard his floor in this draft is 11 at Charlotte. Charlotte really likes him. They won't let him get past him. I mean, Joey just picked him, so it's a good pick. I really like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Charlotte is in a kind of.
I mean, I
they're
feel
in
like
that weird situation.
I feel like
they just have to take maybe the best prospect available.
Right, and I think, yeah, Dwight Howard only has 2 years left, but I think he's refound himself in Charlotte. I think he's healthy again, so I think these next 2 years he'll be okay. And I think they need to be careful because of what they're trying to do with Kemba Walker, what they're trying or not trying to do. So I think you just go with a good upside pick.
Like it. And you kind of pair that with Malik Monk in the backcourt. I really like that pick. All right, Malik. Clippers on the clock. This is originally the Pistons pick, traded to LA for the Blake Griffin. They have 12 and 13. So with the number 12 pick, I mean, we're both in the Clipper front office here. So I mean, I'll let you we both agreed on this, but I'll let you make the call.
So the Clippers had last year, they could have made the playoffs if they weren't so unhealthy, which is really insane to think about. The emergence of Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley got hurt early in the season, which really hurt. Milos Teodosic was a guy that really helped and then got hurt. The new cast of players, Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, they played good, and it led to quite a few wins in the last part of the season for the Clippers. I think the guards are figured out right now. I expect all of them to come back fully healthy next season. So you have DeAndre Jordan at center, and in that power forward spot, you have Montrezl Harrell, Bryce Johnson, guys that are
Bryce is gone. Yeah,
Bryce is gone. Guys that are good backups, but don't really get it done. Wendell Carter's still on the board.
We going Carter?
You have a starting five of Patrick Beverley, Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, Wendell Carter, and DeAndre Jordan. If you get Wendell Carter, I think that's enough to get DeAndre back.
You think that'll
you slide
bring
him
back?
into that starting four spot?
You think Carter?
That is a team that could make the playoffs.
I think Carter. You think more he could play a little bit off of the center?
That was the Charlotte's concern, was could he go to power forward? That was what we ultimately, we were unsure of.
Here in Clipperland, we think him and DeAndre Jordan can make a nice front court pair. And so
Wendell Carter is a guy with a beautiful shooting stroke. I think he has an underrated shooting ability. He has 3-point range. He can get it from the mid-range. And DeAndre doesn't score in the post. He's a rebounder and pick and roll scorer. Yes, he's a rim runner. If you give him the ball in the post, if you give Wendell the ball, he has several very good moves. He's very talented on the offensive end. He has to get better on defense, but DeAndre is there. Them together with that length in the paint. I think this is a pick that could get them in a 7 seed probably in the playoffs this season.
Yeah, and I think they're aiming to be competitive now while still kind of rebuilding on the back burner, developing young players while they stay competitive in that Western Conference playoff run.
And also, he's now out of Marvin Bagley's shadow, so you can see his full capabilities.
Great.
I think if Wendell Carter fell to the Clippers, they would be ecstatic if he fell.
Oh, same, yeah.
I think that would be perfect because then it fills the gap if DeAndre does decide to leave, so they can kind of do either or. So I think that's would be amazing.
Yeah, and
for them.
Now for the 13th pick, the Clippers have Tobias Harris on the wing. They have some wing players. There's still some questions in their backcourt. Beverly, he's 30. He's coming off a big-time knee injury. Milos Teodosic, there's a question he might come back. He will be in free agency this year, so we'll see. We're picking between kind of a wing / a point guard position. We're going Zaire Smith from Texas Tech.
Interesting.
Just to kind of develop, whether you'll probably still have Beverly this year, kind of give Smith, watch Beverly practice, how he plays the game, give him that edge, and develop him and Wendell Carter, kind of give that point guard, big man dynamic going, kind of on the back burner while they still compete. Zaire Smith, number 13.
Him playing behind Patrick Beverly, he's already a good defender. Patrick Beverly could take that to another level. He's still very raw on the offensive end, but the explosiveness that he has is it's incredible to me seeing that 360 alley-oop he had in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
He just does insane stuff
Right.
that gets the entire crowd going, and they
An
need
LA
that. They need
kinda
that.
guy.
Yeah, they need that with the Clippers right now. A guy that can get the fans up on out of their seats now that Blake is gone.
I think if somehow on Thursday's draft, if the Clippers leave with Wendell Carter Jr. and Zaire Smith, they are ecstatic.
Honestly,
beyond belief.
the more that I look at it, this 12 and 13 picks back to back is
It
just
can change,
amazing.
yes.
There's so many good picks that they could go
It's
with.
such a deep draft.
No matter what happens, they are going to be happy, I think, with what they get.
I agree.
All right, Joey. Denver Nuggets on the clock.
Whew. Man, this puts Denver in a sticky situation because we are very unsure. There are some two very similar prospects here where they have very high upside, and you don't know necessarily what you're going to get out of them. I'll tell you right now, Denver's looking at Miles Bridges or Lonnie Walker
That's what I was thinking.
very closely.
Yeah. Is there any kind of dark horse players?
I don't think so. I think they're in a position similar to what were we saying? Similar to like Philadelphia or New York.
A wing player.
They don't, or anybody that just doesn't, or we were talking about Chicago. Like
Oh, okay.
they can take a risk. I think Denver can take a risk for another reason because they're already there. They're right on the cusp of being really good in the West. They're right on the playoff edge every year, and I think either one of these players, they're going to come out pretty solid, whether they work out or not. But I think I'm going to go Miles Bridges just because I think he's a little bit safer. Lonnie Walker also has that potential, but he's got like that J.R. Smith kind of vibe to me a little bit where you don't know his decision-making necessarily. And man, can you imagine Miles Bridges in that elevation getting off that floor?
I'm not the
He
biggest.
would jump out of the
yeah.
gym.
I'm not the biggest fan of Miles Bridges, but I think this pick is almost perfect.
Yeah, I think it's a really good fit there in Denver. It just kind of fills a need. Denver's it's a competing team in the Western Conference. It's another team that can, like you said, take a little bit of a risk and develop that player over time. All right, Malik, we are moving out of the lottery. That was the last pick for the lottery there. Washington's on the clock. A lot of questions about this organization. Is John Wall and Brad Beal going to be back? What's going on with Marcin Gortat? Otto Porter had a strong year. Are you going to start building around him? What do the Wizards do at 15?
Now, this is when I'm getting excited outside of the lottery because
This is where Malik strides.
I put a lot of studying and
Let's hear it.
research into this right here. So the Washington Wizards, they are in a very weird situation, kind of like Charlotte. I think at least one of the guards is going to stay. I think Brad Beal would be the one to stay if Washington looked to.
Do you think they'd
shop
move
John
John
Wall or
Wall
something.
before Brad Beal? All right.
Honestly, there have been a lot of John Wall trade rumors, so
I hear you.
I think they'd be up to trading either, but who knows about that whole situation?
Yeah.
Honestly.
So
But
who we got at Washington?
since I expect them both to be there. One of them could be traded. It's a chance, but let's just assume John Wall and Bradley Beal stay there. You have Otto Porter, who has gotten better every year. You have Markieff Morris, who is a solid starting power forward in this league. Marcin Gortat is retiring either this year or the year after. I think you need a guy that if you have John Wall and Bradley Beal at the two guards, you don't need a ball-dominant guy. You need a very athletic guy that'll rebound, catch lobs, pick and rolls, play great defense. At 15, I'm taking Robert Williams from
Great
Texas
pick.
A&M.
Love that pick.
He is 6'10", with elite athleticism and has phenomenal defensive instincts. I think he's a Clint Capella type with more potential. Because at Texas A&M, when they give him the ball, he's shown he can hit the short corner mid-range jumper. He can hit some hook shots. He has a lot of developing to do. But at this point, when Clint was at his age, I think Robert Williams is ahead of what Clint was. I think he's even more explosive than Clint Capella. If Robert Williams was the starting center on Washington, I think that would be a huge help for the entire team.
It's a match made in heaven, Like you said, Marchin's on his way out. Robert Williams steps in. I think it's a great situation for him moving forward. moving on, we kind of have to go a little bit faster here. We're kind of catching closer to the clock here, 20 minutes out. But we got Phoenix at 16 here. We're on the clock. We made that first pick, DeAndre Ayton, easy pick. This is another no-brainer for Phoenix. We understand his question marks. We understand he's a wild card. Lonnie Walker has too much potential to slip past us at 16. We're going Lonnie Walker. And, we are ecstatic at the moment. You get maybe the best big man prospect in a long time, and you get a solid insurance option if TJ Warren leaves in a couple of years.
I like the pick.
Joey, you're on the clock with Milwaukee.
All right. Well, Milwaukee, they've obviously formed a style of play, and they have a certain body type that they've started to use a lot. And Giannis can go wherever he wants. He can play any position on the floor. And I think that they are looking to get another guy that can fill in like that. Now, obviously, that'll play into whether they end up trying to deal Eric Bledsoe or not, how realistic these rumors are. That may play into it.
How realistic these rumors
right.
are.
That may play into it. But for right now, when you take that away, not knowing what they're going to be able to get, I think that, and maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I'm going to go with Keita Bates-Diop.
Wow.
Yeah. I just think he kind of fits that style in Milwaukee. I think he's got a little bit better jump shot than some of the players that are already there. I think he can stretch the floor a little bit more, but he's kind of that long, lengthy body. I know you have a small sample size from him playing so well this year at Ohio State, but I think the upside is there. And again, I think Milwaukee can take a little bit of a risk.
I'm just going to say, us in Atlanta, we had him ranked number 33, so good for you. Take the pick. But you're right. He could be a guy that fits there. He's Big Ten Player of the Year. He's got potential. And, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo. You got some of these guys that are ready to win now. I think that's a good, solid pick to get a player that's going to help you win next season.
And he's been all over the draft board since the beginning. Yeah. Nobody knows where he's going to go. He could go anywhere from outside of the lottery all the way to the second round. So
exactly. All right, Malik, I'm kind of jealous of you. You're working with Greg Pop now. So who are the Spurs taking at number 18?
San Antonio pick.
Joey just kind of threw me off because
Cates was the pick.
Keita was going to be my pick at 18.
I like that.
Now, we're not going to sugarcoat it. Kawhi's probably gone.
All right.
Manu is getting older. He's still Manu. He's so great. But Manu's getting older. That 1, 2, 3 position, all of that. I like DeJounte Murray. He's probably the point guard of the future. But the 1, 2, 3, that area right there, it needs work. And a guy that can honestly play 1, 2, 3, in my opinion, because of his length and versatility, Kyrie Thomas from Creighton.
Kyrie Thomas, I like the pick. I think that's a guy that they've looked at. They focused on him. He's had a couple workouts with San Antonio. I think he is a solid fit there with the Spurs.
6'4", 6'10" wingspan. He won Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East. I think he'd fit in perfectly with that San Antonio Spurs system, and he has a consistent jumper. So he can play 1, 2, or 3. He can guard the 1, 2, or 3. He's strong enough. He's long enough. And he has some good offense. Has a lot to build on. He can be really good in San Antonio.
Yeah, great pick there. Really like it. Moving on to the Atlanta Hawks here at 19. I let Malik make the first pick at number 3. We went with Jaren Jackson Jr. Here, later on in this first round, we kind of want to roll the dice a little bit. Kind of get some guard help. Schroeder's probably out the door. We're trying to get rid of that Kent Bazemore contract. We're going with the guy from Boston College, Jerome Robinson. He's kind of shot up the draft board as of late, had a great combine, and kind of has that potential to be a two-way guard down the road.
I love that pick so much because I have the Hawks at 30, and it sets up perfectly for this future Eastern Conference champion team.
That's right. We are building a championship in Atlanta, Joe.
Wow.
If this keeps going as well as I hope, this Hawks team is going to be something special.
Malik and I, we just think we're on the same page.
That's a bold statement.
Atlanta, if you're looking for some scouts down the road, just listen to the podcast. Send us an offer. We'll be down.
No problems at all.
Exactly. All right, Joe. Moving on. Minnesota at 20.
Minnesota needs some offensive help. There's a couple good shooters down here, and
I've heard you guys have had the hots for Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, that's just a rumor.
You know, he's out there. But there's a guy that I like a little bit more.
Who's that?
A guy
I
that's
like
a
how you
little bit
just
more,
swept away.
little more safe.
He's out there,
but
he's there. But
and I think he fits into this lineup a little bit better, especially if they can keep their whole team together. And it just adds a little bit more spreading the floor
Who you
for
got?
the team. We're gonna go with Kevin Herter.
I like it.
I know he's out for 2 months, but I think he's gonna be okay. I think
Really
he'll come
good
back
shooter.
fine, and he can shoot
and
the lights
good
out.
offensive player. Yeah.
Fits this style of NBA for this team.
All right, Malik, 21, Utah Jazz on the clock.
As we know, Utah made a fantastic playoff run. They have guards. They have Rudy Gobert. They have Joe Ingles, who was a lot better than anybody expected him to be. I think the one spot where they are kind of soft, Derek Favors is good, but besides him, there's not a lot of depth power forward-wise. I'm going to move this guy up the board. I think he could go second round, but I believe he has the talent to go at this pick. Amari Spellman from Villanova.
Amari Spellman, wow.
He's only 6'9", but he's extremely strong at 250. He has explosive bounce, and he has a really, really good jumper.
I think
Out to three-point range.
of the first round, potential first round teams to take him, I think Utah is a perfect match. I think if you don't go Spellman, I think this is kind of the first ability to see a Mo Wagner go in the first round, kind of that first spot. But I like it. Spellman at 21 to Utah. Joe, any intel there on Spellman?
He's another one of those guys that's just up and down the draft board all throughout this pre-draft. But I think he's a solid pick. I think Utah's right there on the cusp. So they're another one of those teams that can take a little bit of a risk.
Yep. And we're on the clock here in Chicago. We took Michael Porter Jr., trying to put a face to our franchise, pair him with Chris Dunn, Lauri Markkanen. We're taking a risk here on potential. Mitchell Robinson, the big man who has had tons of questions, has missed workouts. There's questions about his attitude, but you know what? He has the talent to be a top big man in this class. And at 22, we're going to take the risk on him and kind of see if we can pair him with Lauri Markkanen at 22. Joey's on the clock with Indiana at 23.
You went Mitchell Robinson?
Yep.
Okay. Catching up. All right. Well, Indiana's in another one of those tough spots because they're on the up. They have a pretty good team. They're pretty solid. It's hard for me to figure out exactly what they need, but I think that, to try to maybe take the ball away from Victor Oladipo just a little bit so that he doesn't have to be necessarily that guy with the ball in his hands all the time, I think you go with Aaron Holiday.
I really like that pick, especially since
So do I.
Darren Collison, he might not be your long-term answer there, so kind of have Aaron Holiday on the back burner.
He's a guy that fits the toughness of Indiana.
Right.
All right, Malik, Portland at 24.
Portland is a team that is looking for answers. They have so much talent, but what they lack is consistent play from their supporting cast and a serious lack of toughness, both physical and mental.
I think I know where this is going.
Let's hear it,
I
Malik.
think this is one of my best picks. At this pick for the Portland Trailblazers, I'm going with Jacob Evans III out of Cincinnati.
Is that who you thought that you was picking, Joe?
No.
I knew you wouldn't see it coming.
No, I know. That's why I said it, because you said you had a lot of toss-ups.
Jacob Evans is 6'6", 200 pounds. He can play the 1 or 2. He is one of the best He was one of the best defenders in the country on the toughest defensive team in the country in Cincinnati. He's also a really good shooter. He has toughness. He has consistent shooting on offense. He's the type of player Portland needs.
You guys made it so easy for us with the Lakers.
Oh,
Dante
no.
DiVincenzo. Quick, Adam Silver, take the card. Dante DiVincenzo, 25.
Oh, Philadelphia was so close.
Almost did it.
They
But
were so close.
Philly on the clock, 26.
Philadelphia is crying right now in the back.
I mean, you can offer us a trade.
Well, Philadelphia again, one of those teams. They're in a pretty good spot right now. Doesn't matter if they mess up in this draft. We're gonna take a reach again. We're gonna go with Jalen Brunson. Yeah,
You got TJ McConnell there.
I like TJ McConnell as a player. It's just what popped into my head.
I like the analysis by Joey.
I'll be honest.
Hot takes.
They're trying to get rid of Markelle Fultz. Maybe
he went to school in Philadelphia.
keep everything.
His dad played for the Sixers.
He's a Nova kid. He played in the arena. It kind of has that connection. And with Colangelo out the door, Brett Brown's running the draft here. And they're probably caught a little bit off guard. Take the safe player. Take the player he can play. Jalen Brunson. It's a solid pick at 26. All right, Malik. Boston Celtics at number 27.
Originally, I was thinking Kyrie Thomas for this pick because Marcus Smart might be gone, but I think they'll be good enough at the guard positions. You have Tatum, you have Brown, you have Al Horford to play the power forward. Daniel Theis is solid. He got hurt. Greg Monroe is probably gone. Yep. He wasn't good enough. Aaron Baines is probably gone. I am taking a swing on a very young guy with a lot of potential.
Who's that?
Brandon McCoy from UNLV.
I've had him as a second-round prospect.
Brandon McCoy is 7 foot 250. That team is good enough to take a swing. Danny Ainge likes taking risks.
Very fair point.
7 foot 250, extremely raw on the offensive end, but runs the floor very hard. Good athleticism, not fantastic, but good athleticism. He's a guy that has good enough size and good enough potential to try to build on.
I'll tell you this. Us in Golden State, we're not worried about that pick. I mean, it could work out for you down the road there, Boston, but we have a guy in mind that fits our mold. We got Draymond Green there. He brings that attitude, but for the games that he is suspended, because that's going to happen throughout the year because he's just that attitude type player, we need a guy with edge. We need a Grayson Allen. At 28, we are going Grayson Allen to Golden State. Need some guard depth. Put him on the wing. I think he's a better player than people make out to be because of all his antics. And at 28, it's good value. You can develop him over time, and he has that edge that we like here in the Bay.
Golden State is going to be hated even more now.
I mean,
this is going to be one of the most hated teams in NBA history.
Add fuel to the fire, baby.
Fuel to the fire.
Joey, and that was my last pick. We're out in Hawaii enjoying vacation. Joey, who you got at Brooklyn?
Well, Brooklyn's in a lot of trouble.
To put it in simple terms,
this is their first pick in the draft too.
Like a lot of teams, they got some issues, and they got a ton of forwards. They now have Spencer Dinwiddie. They have D'Angelo Russell, so they need a big man. We just don't know which kind of big man they need. And
I think I know who you should take, but I don't know.
Joey, you got to make the pick, man. You got to make the pick for the city. Keep calm and carry on, man. You just got to keep calm.
He's just looking back at me. This guy we were talking about back at pick number 5. We're gonna take a flyer on him. We're gonna go in the first round. I mean, Brooklyn already has made enough mistakes. We're gonna go with Mo Wagner.
Wow, I like it.
Thank you, Mr. Joey. That is a fantastic pick.
I really like that pick. He gives you some upside. He's a guy that will fit into Kenny Atkinson's system. The 5 out. He likes guys. He likes big men that can shoot. He even had Tyler Zeller shooting threes this year. So you know what? That's a perfect pick for Brooklyn. I think you can maybe go with a Hamidou Diallo, kind of a guy with potential. But yeah, Mo Wagner. Love it. All right. Malik and I, we've set this up from the start. We're creating a contender
what we're doing
in Atlanta.
Right here in
Eastern
Atlanta.
Conference champions? Is that what you guys are talking
2022
what we're doing
Eastern
right here in
Conference
Atlanta.
champions. All right, Malik. I'll let you, we've agreed on this through the back, but I'll let you do it. Malik, who we got at 30?
You got Jaren Jackson at the 5. You got John Collins at the 4. You got Ken Bazemore at the 3.
Maybe.
Jerome Robinson at the 2. And a guy that is one of the most underrated prospects of this draft, in my opinion. At the point guard, you have Trayvon Duval from Duke.
Ooh.
Trayvon Duval has much, much, much better point guard skills than he's given credit for. He is a really good passer. He has great handle, explosive athleticism. I think his shot can be fixed. He is a very confident shooter. Pick Trayvon Duval, and you have your point guard of the future in Atlanta.
Joe, you thought coming in that you were going to win this draft. But you know what? Malik and I, we had other ideas.
The Atlanta Hawks.
The Atlanta Hawks, man. Shout out to the
tough
Atlanta
team
Hawks.
coming.
Yeah.
Tough
We're
team.
doing it for the culture down in Atlanta. All right, so that is our
No comment on that.
Nope.
This is our first round NBA mock draft. In the description of the video, we are going to put down our picks so you can kind of follow along on the NBA draft. See how many we get right. Because I know there's going to be a lot.
Doubt it.
Joey, I'm trying to hype up the people. We got a good 3 minutes here, 2 minutes. I want to kind of
40 second.
I want to get your 40-second pick prediction for the Pistons. Joey, you go first, then we'll go Malik, and then we'll go me. You got about 30 seconds to make your pick and reasoning. You're cutting into your time. Do you want us to come back?
You look pretty stressed on this one.
Devontae Graham if he falls. If he's there.
Any reasoning to it?
He's a good shooter, and we need some extra guard play.
All right, Malik.
Devontae Graham.
You're doubling down?
High IQ point guard, deep shooting range, and a willing facilitator. He'll play any need.
I really
in
like.
case he needs.
He's been my guy since the get-go. I really like Devontae Graham, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. If Diallo is there, I'm gonna do Diallo from Kentucky. I think he's got a lot of potential.
You think he falls all the way to 42?
I don't think he does. So if he's there, there's a chance, but I like him a lot. If not, I heard Kevin Hervey from
What is
name
it?
escapes me.
UTSA?
Yeah, UTSA. That's it. I heard he had a really good workout, but
Can we go for the star power if none of
Javon Carter. Give me Javon Carter if he's there.
Okay, if none of those guys are there, can we just go for the star power and just who cares and just take Costas and Antetokounmpo?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
just get
Let's
the
just
name.
go for it.
What about LiAngelo Ball? Why don't we just go?
Stop.
I want
Okay,
a ball jersey.
Wrap the show. Time to go home, boys.
Nobody
Guys.
took Chandler Hutchinson.
Time to go. I
How
know
did
that's
Well, here's
Nobody took
that's
Chandler
one thing we
Hutchinson.
had
Gary
wrong
Trent
here.
Jr.
There's one thing we had wrong in this draft. Hutchinson is going to go number 22 to Chicago if he's on the
Yeah,
board.
he's going between like 22 and 24.
But you know,
yeah.
here in Chicago, I thought Mitchell Robinson was the better.
I was gonna
fit,
say,
so,
but you know whose mistake that is?
it's not my mistake. It's going to be the Bulls' mistake.
You
if they
picked
go
him.
Hutchinson
Just look at
over
what the Hawks
Robinson.
do in the next 4 years, Joey.
You know,
That's all you need to pay
thank
attention to.
Thank you, Malik.
Atlanta's
I appreciate
coming.
that. They're coming. All right. They are going to be contending with the Golden State Warriors in a couple of years.
Oh, calm down, Chris. We're talking
Oh,
Eastern
man.
aspirations.
Uh-oh,
right
the
now.
Atlanta front office is getting feisty.
No, it's just once you have such a successful draft, you just, But that's it. I think this is a very successful first annual NBA mock draft for views from the sideline. Guys, what do you think? I mean, quick hitter, Joe. What was your what's your thinking from the show?
I think the draft is going to be exciting. And we can see, there's a ton of different picks. Everybody's got a little bit of different opinion on how it's going to go. I think there might be some trades in this draft, which would be really exciting, but it should be fun.
Malik, any quick hitters you want to get out there?
There's so much talent in this draft. I'm more excited for the summer league to see all of these young guys going against each other for the first time. It's going to be really fun to watch.
You guys in the summer league.
Summer League is
fun
where
to
it's at,
watch.
man.
I'm hanging out in the summer.
We'll
I'm
be-
not watching basketball.
We'll be in Vegas, Malik and I, with the Atlanta front office.
Yes, we will.
You
But
guys putting $100 on Atlanta Hawks?
hey, let's leave that for after the show.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
All right, well, that'll do it for Views from the Sideline. First annual NBA Mock Draft Special. We'll see you guys next week. Talk about everything post-NBA draft. See ya next time.
Bye.
Somebody draft LiAngelo.